All right, good morning, everyone. So first video, not really sure how this is gonna go. I'm just trying it out for this video, and I hope someone's even watching it. But I just got about 200 kilos of very good motors and transformers, and I was thinking like, well, if there's a time to do a first video, it might as well be today. So yeah, I just got these from a customer of mine, and this is gonna be the first little experience we've got with this channel. I'm gonna show you what I do, I'm gonna show you what I make off of this, and I'm gonna also tell you what I paid for it, and so on and so forth. We're gonna weigh everything at the end, and we'll see how much scrap value we can get out of this stuff. So, we've obviously got everyone that's already like is already a little bit experienced with scrap, basically probably knows all of this, but we've got a lot of transformers and some washing machine and other kinds of motors and all kinds of stuff. We've got a lot of stators, we've got this thing which weighs a ton, and I'm gonna be excited to see what this is gonna yield as far as copper goes. We've got a lot of transformers that you can just beat open. I'm gonna show you how you do that. We've got a lot of transformers right there that we've got to cut. And yeah, hopefully gonna make some good money. I would aim at around 400, maybe 350 bucks, and I pay around 140 for it. So should be good. We'll film all of that, I'll keep you updated, and we'll just see how it turns out. As this is obviously my first video, sorry for the quality. I don't really know how to do this yet. Bear with me, I'm gonna figure it out maybe eventually. If no one watches this, well, I guess then I won't. But yeah, so I hope you enjoy, and I'm gonna keep you updated. Oh, and it's also absolutely pouring outside, so as you can see, like everything's wet and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's a mess. Everything is very untidy here, but yeah, I think we're gonna figure something out. Bear with me here. And yeah, the lighting is also bad. I know that. I'm doing my best, you know, but I've only got one lamp there. You can barely see it right there. Like it's one of these long glowy thingies, and yeah, it just doesn't get very bright in here. But I hope that you can still see some of the stuff that I do, and yeah. As I said, I'm gonna improve over time. Just depends on how long I actually do this, but I thought it was a nice idea, so I'm just gonna get on going with it. I'm gonna show you my process, how I take all this stuff apart, and then I'm obviously gonna show you how we're gonna sell it, how we're gonna separate it, all of that kind of stuff. And so I would say, let's just get into it. So let me show you my setup first and what kind of tools I'm working with. I've got a little air compressor here, and I need that for my air hammer, which is over here. A pretty big one. It's kind of heavy, but it does really well on these tough kind of stators. And I use them to cut the ends off of the stators, and then I'm pulling the rest of this out of here. So I'm gonna give you a little example. This stator, I'm gonna cut all this copper out. I'm gonna remove the aluminum first, obviously. That's just cast aluminum, goes straight into cast. And so I cut this part off, and then I use a modified wrench on the other side to just pull the rest of it out. Well, ideally, doesn't always work, but it's very, very cheap, very inexpensive tools. And yeah, so that's the most important part. I've got a little drill here, which that works very well. You need that for all kinds of stuff, you know, all kinds of stuff you need to drill for. I got a pair of wire cutters, which that's always very important. Not only for wires, but for every soft metal that needs to be cut. I've got all kinds of little tools in here that are at the moment just scattered around because I don't have a toolbox yet. I ordered one, but yeah, everything takes a little longer to arrive at the moment. I mean, most of you probably know that. So I've got all kinds of chisels in here, some hearing protection, some Allen wrenches, ratchet set, yeah, side cutters, all kinds of stuff. A scale, digital scale. We're gonna need that later, and obviously everyone needs that. A good old big hammer. So I would say let's just get started with the first of these motors. I'm just going to give you an example of how I do basically all of these washing machines and all kinds of this household equipment type motors. Just going to give you an example of how I do one, and then I'm just going to do the other ones because it's basically all the same, and I don't want to hold my camera for that long. So yeah. your normal washing machine motor, and pretty straightforward actually. We need to remove this plasticky thing first, because we obviously need to get to these screws, which look like they're just starboards. Yeah, they should be. So we are just going to remove that, and I'm going to remove that with a chisel. So I'm going to go in here with a chisel and just pry that off. It doesn't work without a hammer, but I'm going to show you once I did it. I unfortunately can't do it while showing you, because I don't have a thing to put my camera onto. I'm going to work on that, I promise you, but for now it is what it is. And so we're going to remove that. Then we're going to unscrew all of these little screws. Then we should just be able to remove the cast aluminum. That goes straight into cast. It's usually clean. There might be like some little washers and stuff like that. We're just going to clean that up. And then we just have the stator and obviously the motor core. We're going to throw that into steel most likely, because there's just a little bit of aluminum on there, and I don't really want to mess with that. So that's going to go into steel. And then we've got the stator, and the stator is going to get, dealt with this air system that I've got going on. So let's get started. All right, so pretty straightforward. We just loosened this plastic thing up top. We then turned it and got to the point where we were able to fit the drill tip in one of these little holes. We unscrewed all the bolts, and now you can just pull it apart. There we go. We've got the stator that goes straight into wherever the stators are gonna go. I just started, I don't know quite yet. This is the motor core. We have to separate that from the aluminum and from this plastic piece. And this is clean, straight cast. So, very good. And yeah, so I'm gonna do that approximately 20 more times, and then we'll move on to something a little bit more fun. Okay, so let me quickly show you another cool thing that I just found. You know, you do get that quite a bit, but it's very nice if you do. So you remember this was on like that, and it had this cap on it, which I just smashed with a hammer. And under that, it had this piece, which is just a clean piece of brass. Very, very nice. And you do get that quite often, so make sure to actually bust open these caps from the motor mounts, so you actually get that part, because you obviously don't want to stand that as steel. And you do have to get it out anyways to separate these two parts, which we are going to do in just a second. So, very nice, first motor done. And yeah, got a little piece of brass, which is always very good. So, we ran into a little bit of an issue here. This motor has a stripped screw in there, and I tried to undo it, doesn't work. So I'm not really messing around with that very long, and I just go ahead and take a hacksaw to it straight away, and it takes around, well, maybe a couple of seconds at best to get rid of that. Just like that. And you know, this is very way easier than trying to figure out some way of getting that out of there, because this part is trash and this part is steel anyway, so it doesn't matter, just cut it off. If it doesn't come out, it doesn't really take a lot longer than unscrewing it, so this is always a good option. Another thing that I found very useful and very important when scrapping motors like these is if you've got a lot of one motor, or one whatever you might take apart, just do them all in one specific time frame and do one step at a time. So if I've got like, I think I've got like 9 or 10 of these, and what I'm going to do first is I'm going to remove these bolts on every single one of them. Then I'm going to take every single one of them, rip the core out, and then I'm going to remove all these thick aluminum plates from every single one of them, so that I just get in something like a repetitive motion, I would just say, and it just goes like a heck of a lot quicker. So try that out if you've got a lot of something that you got to take apart. It really works very well. Okay, so we ran into another little issue, and this issue are these bolts. This is actually the head of the bolt, so you don't really have a normal bolt head, like for example like this with a Phillips screw or something like that. You have this little mother, you know what I mean? And you obviously can't unscrew that with any sort of normal bit. So these are a real pain in the butt. What I do with those usually, if they are not this small, I just use a very, very small nut driver, and that usually fits right on there, and you can turn it. This one is way too small, so what I would do with that, gotta be honest, I would just give it a hammer treatment, you know, hammer this and all the other corners, and also the aluminum goes really quickly, and yeah, I just wouldn't bother taking that apart any further, just like with normal tools. So yeah, if any one of you has got a better idea about doing that, please tell me, because I really need ideas. And yeah, this is just annoying. And you've got this all the time with some sort of weird screw that some manufacturer thinks is a great idea to put in there, but no one's got the bit for it. So yeah, that's great, but it is what it is. So we'll continue. This thing here is what I'm especially excited about. This transformer here, it's a very weird kind of transformer. You can see it has like kind of 4 spools, like one that is attached here, and this thing was really heavy. I would reckon that's about 50 kilos, and yeah, so it should have approximately, I hope it's got over 10 kilos of copper on it. Would be nice if if it had like, I don't know, 15 kilos of copper, but again, time will tell. I think I'm actually gonna make a different video only about this one, and also gonna upload that, but we are also gonna include this transformer and its copper and its steel and all that kind of stuff at the end of this video, where we see what kind of money we actually made from all this stuff. So yeah, I think that's gonna be pretty cool. Okay, so this right here is just your usual like microwave or any sort of like electrical appliance transformer. It's got a weld here, you can see that, well, right there, welded, and these are so easy to scrap. I mean, like, just if you can get a ton of these, get it, because this is like such easy money. The only thing you really have to do, you go ahead and grab a hammer and you hit this part of the transformer right there. I'm not gonna do it now because it's loud and you wouldn't be able to hear me anymore, but it snaps right off. You can see that I already did it with half of it, and it's really that easy. Like, you can't really mess that up. You just need to beat this part and it's gonna come apart. And then you can just push out the copper coil, and that's it, there you go. So if you can get a lot of those, do it, because they are really exceptionally easy to scrap. And if you get those from like microwaves and all kinds of stuff, scrap them out. Don't sell them like that. You know, many people on YouTube and all kind of stuff, they tell you they are not really worth scrapping because you're getting so much money for them. And when you just sell them, that might be the case, but it's still worth it to scrap them. Absolutely is. You're gonna get about double the value that you would get out of any scrapyard, at least as far as I'm concerned. I mean, there might be some scrapyard out there that's gonna pay you like whatever, but around here and what I've seen on YouTube is worth it. 100% worth it. And this even works on very big transformers. You know, this one, you can see that was, I would reckon, about like 10 to 15 kilos, and it comes right off in little pieces like that. So no issue there. You can do that with basically any transformer that's got this weld on it. Some might be a little bit harder than others, but as long as you keep hitting it with a hammer, it's gonna come apart at some point. Okay, so I'm now about to start using the air hammer to just start to process some of them electric motors and some of them transformers. And I just wanted to quickly tell you something about these air tools. If you're using them, make sure there's enough oil in them. Yeah, it's pretty easy. You just use your little oil thingy. You can buy oil basically everywhere. You just shouldn't use cooking oil. Besides that, every oil should be alright. It should be fairly thin oil, because obviously it needs to go into all this air stuff. And you just squirt it in from down here, where the air also goes in. At least that's how I've always done it. If someone that's watching this now is like, oh, well, that's not how you do it. Well, you know, it worked for me, and this is quite an old tool already. So, yeah, worked pretty well. Didn't break, so can't be that bad. And basically, the only thing you've got to check before you start that is if your air connection is still tight, because these hoses, it's just a cheap hose and they do break quite regularly. So, you know, you don't want to lose all your air pressure to some little tiny hole there, so check that. And besides that, yeah, you're good to go. What I'm now gonna do, pretty straightforward, I'm just gonna use my air hammer here. It has this sharpened chisel on it, and with this I'm gonna cut off this end of the stator, and then I'm gonna use a little modified wrench that I'm going to put in here, and I'm going to hit it with a hammer, and it's going to pull all of these windings out of the motor. Should take me about like 3 to 4 minutes, and well, I have to obviously do that for a lot of stators, but it's a very time efficient process, and it's also very cheap. It doesn't have any parts that could possibly like break or just get used up over time. So yeah, I do it that way. There are way better ways of doing it. Best of them obviously being doing it with an hydraulic press, just splitting it in the middle and just having these parts to pull it apart. But yeah, well, I don't have an hydraulic press, so I'm doing it this way. And very well, we've also got my first mistake of the day. I bought an aluminum motor, or stator in this case. Don't know how that happened. I was probably very sidetracked when I chose this one. I usually test them all, but I bought this one for a copper motor, and it's aluminum. You can see in there, it's all white coil, and that's shit. I'm not gonna waste any more minutes trying to get this bloody thing apart, because that's just, it's not worth anything. Like, no part of this is actually worth anything. I'm just gonna cut the little wires off and just send it back as a stator. That sucks. You shouldn't do that, okay? Don't do that, people. That is very bad. Don't buy aluminum motors or transformers. At least, well, you know, if you have to pay any more than steel price for it, because not worth anything. Not even only that aluminum is way less valuable than copper, it's also way lighter, so way less heavy, or however you want to put it. So, you know, you're gonna you're gonna have like about half the weight of aluminum on this than you would have in copper. Sucks, you know, don't do that. Okay, so quick little update. Still raining, which is still awesome, and we've got our first bucket of copper basically filled up. Yeah, I'm gonna add like maybe 5 kilos to that, but that's around 15-16 kilos, so it's going pretty good. And yeah, as you can see here, I'm now starting to cut these small little transformers. I'm just gonna push this through with like something to push it through. I don't have anything laying around here right now. I don't know why. I was just doing that, but okay. I'm just gonna push that through, remove the plastic, and then copper goes into the copper bucket and plastic goes into the trash bin. So yeah, going pretty good. I still haven't touched that big thing. I still haven't touched that thing. Still haven't touched this massive whatever that is, and also this, which should have also got a good amount of copper, and I've still not touched a single stator. So yeah, I mean, I've touched like two to prove you the concept earlier, but yeah, so we are gonna do that, and you know, I'm still hoping for around 40 kilos of copper, but I guess we'll see about that, and if not, oh well. But I'm definitely gonna do my best, and I'll keep you updated, so let's get on with it. Okay, so I did a little bit more work. I processed some more motors, and not a lot, like I think like maybe an hour of work. And we're just gonna weigh this bucket now, because it's now very, very much full, and we'll see how many kilos we've got. Keep in mind, we've still got this massive one. We still got a lot of stators there. We still got this massive thing and one of these back there. So I would reckon this is hopefully still gonna double. But I'm just gonna put my scale in here now, and we'll see how much we actually gonna get. So that's 20.5, 22 kilos. The bucket weighs about 500 grams, so that's 21 kilos. Yeah, I think I can be fairly happy with that, actually. So if that still doubles, great stuff. If not, well, we are definitely gonna go way ahead of like 35 kilos, and if we don't get the entire 40, well, but I'm definitely gonna try, and as I said, we'll keep you updated. Alright, so hello and welcome to the next day. It's the next day now, and we still got some stuff to do today. So first thing, we obviously have to do all these stators. These are very small stators, so that's not going to take a lot of time at all. So I would reckon half an hour and these are all gone. Problem being, It is supposed to rain again in like a couple of minutes, so we need to get on with stuff pretty quickly today. I still need to do this big thing and this thing over there, which also has a lot of copper on it. And yeah, I'm gonna do these. I'm not sure yet if I'm gonna do a separate video about these. I might just do them right now and then, yeah, well, we'll just check how much copper was on them. Maybe, we'll see. What I'm definitely gonna do a separate video about is this thing. This is this massive 50 kilo transformer that I showed you before. And I would reckon that it would have about 40 to 50% of copper on it, because it's legit, it's just copper with some very small steel cores in the middle. So we'll see how much copper we can actually get off of that. Maybe even like only 35%, but oh well, that's also pretty good. And it should get us pretty much all the way there to our goal of 40 kilos for this scrap down. So I'm gonna make a separate video about that one, because I think it's just gonna be a little bit more interesting than me just showing you, yeah, I did this and that and that's it. I would like to do some time-lapse stuff, but I don't know how to do that yet, so yeah, I hope that I'm gonna figure that out at some point, but yeah, good. So I hope this video turns out, well, basically at all watchable. I mean, I'm doing my best, but, you know, as it always is when you're doing something for the first time, it doesn't really go as planned. But oh well, you know, I'm gonna do my best, and I hope it's remotely watchable. So yeah, let's get on with it. Alrighty, so it's the next day, another next day, so the third day in total. We did 1.5 days of work only, so, you know, it's not really the third day of working, but yeah, you get what I mean. I'm now about to go to the scrapyard. We've got this thing all scrapped out, which is a lot of steel. We got this whole bin full of steel, which I'm not yet sure how to carry it out of here, because that's probably like 120 kilos, so quite a bit. We've got some cast aluminum here. We've got some cast aluminum over there. We got some wire there, but that's not enough to sell yet. We've got this full bin of copper, which is 27 kilos. We've got this little bucket, which is like, I think 4. And we've got this thing, which is also heavy. But you're gonna have to wait until the next video to see how much that actually weighs. Because, well, that's another kind of deal. And I made a separate video about scrapping down this massive transformer that I showed you, because I just thought it would be kind of interesting to have you know, that video standing on its own. But, so, yeah, you're gonna see about that, but I can tell you, it's 47 kilos, so that kind of made that whole thing a bit unnecessary to not tell you how heavy that is, because you can just, you know, do some simple math, whatever. I'm not gonna tell you. If you want to calculate it out, go ahead. But, yeah, 47 kilos, pretty good. We absolutely demolished our goal of 40 kilos by about 7 kilos, obviously. I mean, I don't have to tell you that, but yeah, pretty good, very happy. More than doubled my money, obviously. I paid like, I think 135 bucks for that. I'll have to look again, but I'm definitely gonna show you later what I made from all of this stuff, and yeah, let's go to the scrapyard. Alrighty, we are back from the scrapyard. I'm sorry, my hand is a little bit shaky. I haven't slept very well, but nevertheless, we got a good amount of money, and yeah, we're gonna just quickly check all of the stuff that we got. So the first thing was steel. I know most of you guys probably don't speak German because this is not a German channel, but you know, first the steel. I got 16 cents a kilo. It's totally alright, and we got a total of 25 euros and 60 cents. We also had 9 kilos of cast aluminum. We don't really get a lot for that stuff around here, so that was 70 cents a kilo. Yeah, no, that's kind of bad, but you know, it is what it is. You don't really get a better price here. So we got 6 euros and 30 cents for that. We got 47 kilos of copper. They for some reason put it as Milbury, but they gave me the normal burnt copper price. I don't know, it was burnt copper, so I don't know why I wrote Milbury, but yeah, you know, whatever. And so yeah, we got 272 euros and 60 cents for that, which was really, really good. And then we got some electric motors, yeah, 9 kilos of that for 40 cents a kilo, and we got 3 euros and 60 cents for that. So yeah, pretty good. Total of 308 euros and 10 cents. So definitely happy with that, I would say. And yeah, I'm in my car right now, so we're gonna go home and be very happy with the money we made this like 1.5 to 2 days. I would say that's definitely decent. Remember, I paid approximately, as I said, around 130 to 135 euros. However, I also sold some other stuff that I picked up on the way. So I actually just paid like, I think 89 euros, 90, 89, something like that. And so that's definitely all right. And yeah, I would say we can be very happy with that. Made around 230 euros in 2 days. So that is definitely very decent for just some scrap metal. And yeah, so that's the end of this video. I hope you liked it. Was my first one. I don't know if I've got a lot of stuff that I still have to improve. I know that. You can definitely tell me what I should improve on, and yeah, I would be very happy about that. Would be very happy if you could write any sort of questions and other stuff that you just got on your mind in the comments below. I'm definitely gonna answer that. And I would also be very happy if you could give this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you don't like it. Well, you know how that goes. And I would also be very happy if you would subscribe to this channel. So yeah, that would also be a very nice thing, right? Yeah. With that said, I'm just gonna wish you a very nice week, weekend, whatever. And thank you very, very much for watching.